Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I am here with a Magnolia deck profile. So for Stoicheia I still have this and also the dragon that I need to do, but I think I still need a little bit more time to test out something for the dragon before I get the deck profile to you guys, because the current build is workable, but I want to try something else. So just wait a little bit. But Magnolia I've been playtesting for quite a while, been switching out cards, and so far this is what I get up to. So I'm going to show you guys this build, and of course I'm still going to upgrade it, still testing different things and see where my final goal will be, but at the moment that's where I am at. So right line, still using Magnolia, lettuce, cherries, and then latte. So just the basic Magnolia right line, because instead of going for the Soga right line that can help me pick up orders, which risking me to maybe drop 2 cards to the drop zone, now I am using this engine back so that I can kind of get a free call, because with lettuce, when you go to Magnolia you actually the Soul Blast 1, and from there you can reuse those units with orders that we are using, and we are actually using less orders in this build compared to the DBT01 version. So yeah, so far I prefer this more, even though 95% of the match that I play, when I use these skills I call triggers, but that's not a good reason to tell you not to use this right line, because you still have a chance to call something great, and you might get some good cards to your hand, or even fill up your soul, depending on what you actually open. Just me being unlucky, still making the right line good, because even if I got a trigger, I can still kind of plan how I can push my opponents a little bit more, trying to make them drop some hands, or maybe bait them to put down a trigger to like strike me, especially with a bastion. When they're a trigger, they can choose to put at the back, they can choose to put to the front to attack the trigger that you call. So there's a lot of things that you, even if you got a trigger, you can still kind of play mind games with your opponents and make them to make some choices that you prefer them to do, and maybe from there you can gain a little bit more advantage. Yep, so that's the right line. And Great Freeze, starting with 3 more Magnolia. Because we play mainly Magnolia, we do want to personalize, because without the personalize you can only choose 1 unit to give power and allow them to attack from the back row, but personalize gives you 3, so there's no reason you shouldn't run a total of 4. And next is the new card, which is Arente. So this card is actually quite interesting, at the same time quite fun to use, and solve half of your problems with Magnolia deck. So the skill is, when this unit attacks, this card will count the number of units in front of these units, so only counting the same line without counting itself. If there are 2 or more, counting opponents of course, during battle will get 5k. If 3 or more, you also get a soul charge 1. So important, because you do want to soul charge so that you can use skills. There are skills that requires you to soul blast quite a lot, so being able to have a chance to soul charge is quite important. And if you put this card behind the Vanguard, you guarantee 1, you guarantee 2, because the Vanguard circles won't disappear, so you at least guarantee 2 units. But even if you put it on the other side, as long as you got 2 or 3 units in front of this card, including opponent's units, that's totally fine. Try to put him on a place where you can soul charge, because as long as you can soul charge, there's a lot more things that you can do. Yeah. And then starting from Great Tools, we have Nero. So it's a little cute fox, and it's a very important card of in this set for Magnolia, which the skill is the first one. When this unit appears on Rigor Circle, if your Vanguard is Magnolia, you can Soul Blast 1, choose one of your units, and they can attack from the back row plus 5k. So it's basically a Soul Blast version of Magnolia skill, and it's a skill that you activate before you enter battle, so you can choose something to attack from the back row, give them 5k, and use them to actually attack first before you use your Magnolia to attack. So this can change a lot of things. And Soul Blast, as I said, this guy has a Soul Charge, so make things a little bit easier to keep using, because this card doesn't require you to call from hand, so if you revive it from drop zone, you can still use the skill, which is very, very helpful. Also, this card got a second skill as a regard. Once per turn, when this unit is being selected by Vanguard effects during the turn, this card will get 5k power. So if you use Magnolia to choose this card, no matter he's from front or back, you totally gain 10k, because Magnolia gives 5k, and once your Vanguard selected this, it will also get 5k, which helps you to actually tune a little bit of number easier to hit, and also makes you to actually can give the 5k to something else, and expecting this can at least still hit 420 with your Magnolia. And you can also put this at the back, so that you have 2 units to attack from the back row, even though you are not personal riding. So this card activates your multiple attack engine and makes it a lot easier, because there are times that we don't always get to personal ride from Magnolia, and that's where we struggle. It's like if we have one more attack, we can get the game. Now you have it. So at least making your multiple attacks in a different way, and even you can just pump something 5k. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. Like with him, you pump him 5k, and then if in front of him we have 2 units, he already hit 23k. So quite key and very, very helpful. And then I'm using 2 of the Junosla. So at first I actually dropped this card from my previous build, but then I decided to add him back because the power problem is kind of still here. So having a chance to actually adjust your power and just suddenly pass at least 15k to something else to make them hit is to me is important. And this card, you don't actually need to hit the Vanguard to use the skill, so you can pump in 5k even with the little fox here, attack other regards, and pass the 15k to something that can't hit the Vanguard, and then suddenly hit. So this card makes the multi-attack more valuable, but of course you do need to be very, very careful with the counterblast, because you do want to keep counterblast for Magnolia, unless you don't really mind, you want to pass the power while using the fox to let him attack from the back row, that's fine as well. So it's all up to how you manage your resources. And then 2 of the bulger, not too sure how to pronounce this name, but I think that's right, I hope. So this is a card I don't think a lot of people run. I see some people run, but not most of them. But I do like this card. So his skill is a active skill by counterblasting 1. During the turn, when this unit is gaining this skill from the back row, when this unit attacks, this card will actually attack with all the front row units. So it's helpful, because there's always some front row units that you hate, but then you don't want to kind of waste a attack to hit them and maybe get guarded. But now this problem is off. You just use the fox, give him 5k, counterblast when gain the skill, swing, all the front row. Now choose how many you want to guard, because you just need a 5k for the Vanguard. then you need to give me 2 or 5k for something else, unless you're facing units like Elgar that can basically pump 10k, then that's a different story, or like Overdress. But if you put a trigger on him, he can hit 25k, so basically can have you clean a lot of stuff. It's like a weird way as a retiring skill, kind of like that, but he does cause you counterblast, so do be careful using him. Don't use him too much, just that when you need it, place him down, go for the rush, and see what you can get. And I'm running one more Retis because I can soul charge, so kind of easier to get the 10k plus if I want to, so it's there. Okay, so entering grade 1. So first I'm running 3 of the Kuzi. It's just a really good card, and mixing with the next card, which is the Maiden of Deep Impression, Arjuna, they are really a good pair. Because this card can only be called to the center back row, and you can ride it, and he got no shield value. So when this card first released, we actually don't or can't put too much because he doesn't have shield value. You can only place them there, and once you place them there, unless it's gone, extra copies will be useless. But now with her, you can actually move all your Rigas to basically any places you want. And that making this card a lot more valuable. As long as you put your front row, your center back row empty, you play this card, you have this card, and then you can just move him around. And you can even put him on the front row, so he can be a 15k attacker. Pressure right can be a 25k. That changes a lot of things, because in the past, like Pressure right, good cards will likely be like hitting 20k, maybe 18k, sometimes maybe 23k. With the Tiger, we can go up to 25, but that needs you to fill up the whole field. But now you have this, and it's a 15k body, so even if your opponent is trying to hit you, they need to be hitting you a little bit harder. And even like Bastion boosting the grade 3 to 15k, you only need 5k shield to guard still, and other 13k usually can't simply kill this guy, so making these two a very very good pair. And also Vajula also got a other skill, is the unit in front of her cannot be selected by opponent's effects, so you kind of have a resist, kind of have protection. Not that easy to burn. You need to burn her first before you burn something else, so making things a lot easier to control your whole board. It's not like, okay, I place it there, then it stays there, but now I can basically move to anywhere I want, and I can put units that I really want to keep all at the back row so that they won't easily get hit. Yeah, all sort of things. And then for PGs, nothing too much to say there. Then 4 of the Wild Intelligence. This is a order that is for Magnolia, so of course we are running 4. But this card also eats your counterblast, so do use your counterblast very heavy. We do have 1 card, 2 card, 3 card, 4 card that eating your counterblast, so you need to be very very careful when you use a counterblast. So far, we still don't have any way to countercharge, which I hope in like set 3 maybe we can see something like that. They can at least help us to make things a lot easier. Of course, we do have a kind of a tight space, but as long as there is a countercharge or something that can help us to reduce counterblast costs, like the Rogue Hunter that we have for Solgar, then maybe we can get the problem solved. But back to this card, you actually draw 3 cards from the top of the deck and call one that is having the same or lower grade with as your Vanguard. If you are having a Magnolia Vanguard, you can instead call 2. So 1 card turn into 2 cards, fill up what you needed, unless they got prison, unless they got get into the soul, which if you have them in soul, you can simply find ways to soul blast to get them out, and then use the wild intelligence to bring them back. And you don't need to care about your units that much. Of course, you still need to care to try to reduce the waste, because this card still costs you counter blast, and if you just let your units die out and you run out of counter blast, you're still going to having the same problem of not having the right units on the right time in the right place to do your attacks. So it's a good card. Even allows you to do early rush, like grade 1, grade 2 turns. You can simply just use this card to call at least a unit out. Like even when you first write your grade 3, when your Atlantis going to have you soul blast a card, you can simply call that back. So yeah, you can always find yourself some good attackers, and this card allows you to kind of plan how you want cards in your drop zone by using your right deck, because you always need to drop 1 card to write from the right deck, and those cards can now be reborn by wild intelligence, and once you get into Magnolia, you can reborn too. So yeah, plan well, looking at what you have, like things that you don't mind to stay in the drop zone for a little bit, and you pull them back out, then you can put them to the drop zone, and then use wild intelligence to pull them back. Now triggers. I still like the this trigger over the generic triggers. I do see people love the 2 times 100 million, and then use him to spread another one, which is possible, but I like the fancy effects more, so I still pick this. But if you prefer that one, it's fine as well, which that one will also work in this build, so choose the one you want. But if you ask me which one I prefer the Stoicheia one. And then 8 crits, 3 draws, and 4 heals. Because you, at the same time, you still want to push your opponents as much as you can. So crit is needed. Front is a little bit too random here, and sometimes you prefer to have units just at the back row to attack if you don't have something to put on the front row, or you do want to protect them at the back row. So sometimes front triggers won't be as effective as you want it to be. So I turn to crits instead. If my opponent's guard want to attack, I can put the crit on the other one to push again. Draw is just to help you not that easy to lose all your resources, because Magnolia use resources quite fast, and you do need to keep the pacing going. You need to keep the waves going on, need to keep calling up units, keep using your cards, no matter guarding, attacking. You need to like keep rotating your cards a lot. So having a little bit draw here helps you out, and well, it just like kind of personal, but when you see a draw trigger actually being called with your right line skill, it's kind of better to see it front, right? So just the personal thing, but without that, I'm still thinking draw triggers is better. Yeah, and I've also been seeing different builds, but most likely they are also going for draw triggers instead of fronts. I do see some running like 8 fronts, 4 crits. Of course that is going to work, and the new front triggers is going to save you a little bit more with the extra 5k shield. But if you ask me what I prefer, this is the lineup that I prefer. Yeah. If I really have to do a little bit changes, I might try the generic over trigger. This unless I'm really confident with what I draw, or when I'm confident I can build a field, then maybe I can switch to fronts. But for now, I don't have that confidence yet, and I still want to kind of make sure I'm safe while being aggressive. So this is the trigger lineup. Yeah, so that's basically the list. Nothing too much to upgrade on how this deck works. Mainly on this pair, how great they are, how great is the wild intelligence, and how great is our Damainaru. And that's basically it. Yeah, so as usual, any questions, comment down below, let me know. Always welcome questions so I can help you out how you can like pilot this deck. Even if you got your own build, feel free to share. Maybe I can get some idea from there as well, but for now, this is what I'm going to be using, and of course, while keep playing through different matchups, facing different builds, facing different decks, maybe I will change it to something else too. That feeling those like matter, environment, yeah, all sort of things. So yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.